Okay, so, we're going really far back now. And, some of the, footage I found, not the best quality, but I'm talking about a movie from the 1960s, I believe. So, yeah. Working with the best I got here. But, yeah, we are talking about the next box office bomb today. A movie that's been adapted 3 times? So, crazier things have happened, I guess. But, I mean, you'd think when the first one failed, they would have done it again with Eddie Murphy, and then again with Robert Downey Jr., which now that I think about it, I think the Robert Downey Jr. one is on the biggest box office bomb list of all time as well. So, I have that to look forward to. But no, today we are talking about the original 1960s Rex Harrison Dr. Dolittle. So yeah, let's get into it.
Bella's voice.
There he is. We've caught him red-handed. Emma, you're a witness.
A witness to what?
The most flagrant display of organized animal stealing in the history of Puddleby crime.
Organized? I beg. I am a doctor, sir.
You are a horse thief, sir. That is my plow horse.
So, before we begin, I gotta go over the rules. If you've already heard the rules, you can jump over to the next chapter. But if you're new to this series, there's a couple of rules. One, I'm going through the entire Wikipedia box office bomb list, and I have to at least try every single film. I can't just go, oh, I heard that was bad, I'm going to skip over it. I have to try it at least. But I reserve the right to walk away from it after starting it. The next rule is that if the movie gets added to the list after the point I've already passed, then I'm not going to review it, because I'd be doing this forever. But if it gets added before the point I reach, I have to review it, and I will adjust the list accordingly. So, with that being said, let's go over the numbers, shall we? So, this movie had a budget of $17 million back in the whatever year it came out. I think it was sometime in the 60s. I'll put the date here. $17 million, which doesn't sound like a lot by today's standards, but back then was a lot of money. And it only made $9 million. Now, adjusted for inflation and the increase in costs and whatnot, it's estimated that by today's money, this movie lost somewhere around the ballpark of $95 million. Adjusted for inflation, of course. Which is a big loss. So, yeah, the difference between $17 million and $9 million doesn't seem so much back then, but you gotta remember, money was far more valuable back then, so $100 you could get a lot further on then than you can today. And I'm gonna be completely straight up and honest with you, I did not finish this movie. I couldn't. I made it about, I'd say 30 to 40 minutes into the movie before I finally walked away from it. So, you can already guess what the rating for this movie is going to be. But there's a couple of things I did want to talk about with this movie. So, for starters, I did not expect this to be a musical. I was not expecting it at all. And, it's not because I don't like musicals. It's just, I don't like the lead Rex Harrison in musicals. I saw My Fair Lady, and I was not nuts about his performance in that movie. He doesn't exactly sing. He more like, he just talks through all of his songs in this very British voice. And that's how he does all of his songs. And it gets really obnoxious after a while. I would like to talk to you about the nature of animals. And I will change the octave of my voice quite infrequently. You know, just, it's weird. And, like, There's no musical note to the guy's voice, and also the songs just aren't that catchy. I like to think about the penguins and the elephants, the dogs and the coyotes, and it just gets really obnoxious after a while. So one thing that I was completely impressed by with this film, I like to give credit where I can find it and where it's due, but something I was really impressed by is the animal wrangling or husbandry or whatever you call it. Whoever was in charge of the animals on this movie, bravo. I mean, holy cow. They had so many animals in this movie. Real life animals. Not CGI, not puppets. They had animals actually with each other interacting, well trained. I mean, you had monkeys doing things you normally wouldn't see. Birds, parrots, pigs, horses. I mean, like, the animal wrangler on this film, top marks. I mean, just, I see where they put the 17 million in. They put it into having these animals well trained, and it is impressive. Absolutely impressive. So, while this movie wasn't my cup of tea, if you are a diehard animal lover, or you're interested in becoming a veterinarian, watch this movie, because you will absolutely love it. Because unlike future films about the same story, they use fake animals or CGI animals, but in this, like, they're using mostly real animals, and it's amazing. It's really impressive, and so definitely check this out if you're at all interested in working with animals, because you're going to absolutely enjoy this. But yeah, I could not finish this. I just couldn't. The musical numbers just were not vibing with me all that well. I wasn't enjoying this film. And while it was impressive what they did with the animals, I just wasn't able to get into it. And so, yeah, that's pretty much about it. And so I feel like this movie deserved to be a bomb. Anyway, that's been my next examination of the greatest box office bomb list of all time. What did you guys think? Did you guys enjoy this film? My name's Christopher Kyle with 11 Hour Reviews, and that will be all for today.